This is the Average Guy Network, and you have found Home Gadget Geeks, show number 402, recorded on May 16th, 2019. Here on Home Gadget Geeks, we cover all the favorite tech gadgets that find their way into your home. News, reviews, product updates, and conversation, all for the average tech guy. I'm your host, Jim Collison, broadcasting live from the Average Guy TV studios here in a grass-growing Bellevue, Nebraska. Mike, are you mowing your lawn like every other day at this point?
It's almost every other day. It's driving me nuts. We were out of town last weekend for my sister's graduation, and I came back, and I'm like, you know, this is the time, right? Because we don't have the heat yet. Actually, today we're 90 plus today with the temperature. It's been amazing. So the grass is just growing like crazy because there's no heat to keep it down.
Yeah, well, it's great. We got all that rain. We had a snow. We got the rain. I mistakenly put fertilizer on it. You know, like it's one of those things like, oh, it sounded like a good idea at the time. It's the right thing to do, right? This is the growing season. This is when it spreads. This is when it gets healthy. This is when the roots go down. This is all that good stuff. I do. One of the things I'd really like to do is get temperature and moisture sensors for the yard and put it in 4 or 5 or 6 different places just to get some idea of the ground temperature, because that's really important during the growing season. I've been watching YouTube videos from guys that do their, lawn mowing guys or lawn maintenance guys. Yeah. Lawn Rebel is one of them. And they're all really concerned about soil temperatures. So making sure you're putting the right chemicals or the right fertilizers down when the temperature is the right soil, or the soil's the right temperature. Changes the grass starts doing things at certain temperatures. So that's one of those gadgets. I don't know if you're listening and you're into lawn stuff. I haven't really looked at remote sensors, but I'd love to throw some, and I'd love to have it a combo where it was a temperature and moisture sensor on one of those things. Send me an email, jim@theaverageguy.tv. We have had the best run of weather, and I mowed yesterday. The big problem was I went out, I got home, mowed, and a plume of mosquitoes came out of the lawn. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a long summer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if we have bad mosquitoes this early, yikes.
I didn't think I would ever have the issue. Today, I've been doing a live webcast continuing education course the last 2 days. And so obviously it's something you watch on your laptop. And so today I was like, this is great. I can go outside, get a tan, and watch the webcast from the backyard. My laptop overheated. Like, it was too hot to even have your laptop outside today. So I couldn't even do that. I'm like, really? I mean, that's great. We've never had that problem. Well, we probably have, but
couldn't you like Chromecast it to the TV or something? Do you have
I tried everything, because you're right. I could have, but it's not a Chromecast up there. It's a Roku, Roku Player didn't work. I was trying it all. And by that point in time, I was like, okay, I'm missing more of the CLE that I'm actually watching. So
good idea. Wait a minute. You send him a note. Can you wait a second?
Can you wait a second? I'm really trying to, get a tan on while I watch this from my backyard.
So great. Well, at least you gave it a college try. I've been considering an outdoor weather kind of proof TV that, the deck, we've been enjoying more of the deck. And of course we have one of those sun windows that kind of goes out off the kitchen, and it would be the perfect spot for about a 30-inch, 35-inch waterproof. That's not really true, but weatherproof TV like you have out in your area. I probably wouldn't even put it in a cabinet. I don't know. But it would be the perfect spot when we're sitting on the deck to just open that up, instead of it being up above the fireplace. It'd kind of be down at, and when you're down on the deck, it'd be right at eye level. So I don't know, Mike, we keep thinking we're going to move, and then it keeps getting delayed. So I don't know, maybe TVs are super cheap right now.
Well, that's what I was saying. So I would almost, mine's been out there for years. The guy before me had it. It's weatherproof, but the sealant, the front kind of screen finally started to peel, which we ended up cutting off, and it was fine, but we realized it was also an anti-glare screen. So it's almost unwatchable if it's bright out, because there's so much glare. But I was looking at prices, and to get a fully waterproof outdoor TV, it's actually really expensive. But I was looking at some of the other ones you can get on Amazon for like $250, $300 for like a 4K, same exact size TV. I'm like, I could go through 3 or 4 of these TVs, before I bought one of the weatherproof ones, and not even knowing how long this weatherproof one lasted throughout the seasons. If I was better at closing those cabinet doors during the winter season, some things to help it, because I never close those cabinet doors. It definitely could help.
What if you got one that you just took down when you were done with it? Like, take it out, make it easy enough that you could just put it up there and plug it in. And then when at the end of the night, like you're bringing in drinks and cups.
Really could. And really, I would only have to do it in the wintertime because there's no
Right,
rain
right,
gets to where my
right.
TV is at. So I'm not worried about rain. I'm worried about really drastic temperatures.
Yeah.
And so change that in the winter months. But the great thing about where we've gone with wireless, you know, our Wi-Fi is so strong now, and most of our things are streaming that we don't need coax anymore. Because that used to be a big limitation for people wanting to put TVs outside. Is, oh, I don't have coax out there. And then it was a big deal when some of the cable companies got wireless boxes, because then you could take your wireless box outside. Now you don't even need that. You just need, you know, a Roku or whatever you need to set up your streaming, especially if you're a YouTube TV person for your cable. Makes it even easier. That's what we use around all of our house. We use Rokus everywhere with YouTube TV and Plex and Netflix and everything. We're set.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be pretty easy. Brian says he can get you ones that they have out on the smelting dock, Cat 3 Hurricane, Category 3, that's what that is. Category 3 Hurricane proof with 130 degree to negative 30 degree range.
See, now that's what we need.
Boom. Anything worth doing is worth overdoing.
Yep.
And
that's
that's definitely what they have.
Let's get in touch, Brian, about that. That sounds perfect. Because you know what? That's about the temperature range of Nebraska. So sounds about right.
Well, I think I would maybe just do one, get it the right size where I just use it. Maybe it sits down here and I use it most of the time, but I set it up in a way that I can quickly disconnect it, take it outside, have a stand for it outside where you just put it in and plug it in.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, you know, maybe it's Chromecast. We would probably use Chromecast. And you just like to use it for that night. Because I may be on the deck 9 or 10 or 12 nights a year. Not worth mounting a TV out there for that kind of use.
Right.
You're just not out there that often. And yeah, it's convenient to go just pop out there. You know, Dave's got one, Dave McCabe. He's got one out on his pool deck, but they're out there all the time.
Yeah,
swimming.
and we're out on ours all the time. So it just makes sense to have it out there all the time.
Yeah. So for me, probably different. And maybe that's worth picking up a $99 24-inch or, you know, even a $200 30-inch and just have it take it in and out, you know?
Yeah.
And when I'm not using it, it gets put in down here to watch movies.
Well, and leave the base on it, but have a Visa mount on the back that you could just unhook. They make those mounts so easy now where it's a string on the bottom. You pull down the string and it releases it and you can just take the TV off. Yeah. You could be in and out in seconds. And then
that would
bring
be
it down and have your stand on it.
Right. Quick connect, kind of have a quick connect stand and bring it back in, plug it back in. It's completely wireless except for power. And so it would allow you to kind of dual use it kind of based on the need. I'll have to look at that. Maybe I'll have to look this weekend and see what I can come up. Well, that all to be said, we'll have links to the show notes out at theaverageguy.tv. Don't forget, you can join us live on the mobile app. Our best way to kind of experience Home Gadget Geeks. Just go to homegadgetgeeks.com. We want to thank our Patreon subscribers, our faithful Patreon subscribers. You guys are ridiculously faithful. And I appreciate that those are supporting. If you want to support us, you can do it $1 or $5, whatever. I did find some, I found some old stickers, by the way. I was cleaning some stuff out and I was like, oh, hey, there's a sticker that we gave away back in the old days. But thank you for the Patreon subscribers and for the work that you do to make sure you support us. Many of you have been joining us on the Discord group. And if you haven't done that yet, head out to theaverageguy.tv/Discord. A lot of great conversations going there. Spartacus, what's his name? I am Spartacus. Is that what it is? He put a crickets meme and it's gotten a little quiet. So if you haven't, if you want to go out there and contribute, and I find groups are kind of this way, right? They get a lot of traffic for a while and then things kind of die down and then some things pick back up again, maybe kind of based on what the community's thinking or feeling or whatever they're doing. So join us in the Discord group, theaverageguy.tv/Discord. Mike.
And if you have a question out there too, I think if you guys can't do this, let me know. I think I gave everyone the ability. If you have a question that you want people to see, I think the problem is people are posting stuff out there. Not everyone's checking it every day. Feel free for the foreseeable future for a little bit to @ everyone. If you put @ everyone, then everyone will get a notification. If you have like a question you want everyone to kind of see, do that. It gives everyone a notification that you did it. And then that way kind of gets people back in to check and see your questions. I think a lot of people are putting questions and then people aren't checking back in and seeing those questions. So feel free to @ everyone.
Takes a while for those kinds of things to become a habit.
Yes, exactly.
And so not a big deal. Like you don't have to be out there. We don't make any money off this. We just want community. So I still continue to check the Facebook group. So if you go to facebook.com/group/theaverageguy, you could join the Facebook group. I'm still checking that. I work on Facebook. That's what I do for a living. So I'm on it all the time. You can find me there. It's probably the easiest way to find me on Facebook. So join the groups there. Some great conversations going on there. We thought it's been a couple weeks, 4 weeks, 3 weeks since we've had the 400 show, and I got some email. Didn't get a chance to read it last week. Big thanks to Micah Librant, who joined me last week, and all the great stuff that we talked about there. Definitely like a kitchen gadget show, which are some of my favorites that we covered. Mike, she's got this really sweet espresso maker that's like $600, but that's kind of medium, actually. You know, the expensive ones are
for a high quality espresso maker,
2,000-3,000, right? Yeah. So we had some conversations about that, but I got a couple emails, 3 or 4 from you guys. I thought I'd read them off today. So just kind of catch up with you. Thanks. If you want to send me an email, if you got something to say, you want me to read it on the show. By the way, if you send it to me, I'll probably read it, just so you know, in advance. And so send me emails, jim@theaverageguy.tv. All right. This one says, hi, Mike and Jim, or Jim and Mike, either way. I've been an episode or 2 behind in my podcast listening. So I just caught up this weekend to Home Gadget Geeks 400. I'm actually about to head out on a run in San Francisco while I finish up 401. I just wanted to say huge congratulations on getting to show 400. Quite an accomplishment. Still listening every week between being busy with work and life. Who isn't, right? Kid stuff. I haven't been able to be as inactive in the community, and it's been a while since I've been there. Now that I'm thinking about you guys tonight, I just signed up for the Discord group. So, John, thanks for doing that. I definitely owe you guys a Patreon sign up. No pressure there, but if you want to do that, that's great. Surprised to hear and glad to hear Jim mention my name a couple times on show 400. This is John Greenaway, by the way, who has the most popular YouTube video as well. While I know that show we did on Ecobee and Simplisafe had been the most visited at some point in time, I expected something else might have taken the crown over the last 4 years. No, John, it actually hadn't. Otherwise, I remain a huge home gadget geek in the truest sense. We moved across town about 2 years ago, and I left Simplisafe at my old place, and I recently adopted Ring security in the new house. Nothing wrong with Simplisafe, but I just like the security/door cam integration in with the Ring app, and the annual monitoring service costs are lower. Now I just need to get my family to start using it. Beyond that, I've added a family robust Sonos setup around the house. We have echoes everywhere. Mine is going to answer here in just a second because I said that word. August smart locks with the MyQ Chamberlain garage door system. We recently rolled out Amazon garage features. Haven't tried that yet, though, and I'm thinking my wife might veto that one. Finally, I'm curious how you guys are finding the Stride Kick. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. How you guys are finding the Stride Kick integration app, and I mentioned on $3.99. I looked it up on the Google Play Store, but the reviews were fairly harsh. So I wanted to give it a couple weeks to see if you guys thought it was doing its job. So I'll give it a shot. I'm using a Garmin integrated with, is it Strava? S-T-R-A-V-A. Is that Strava? Glad to hear you guys each week. Keep up the great work, John Greenaway. John, thanks for sending that email in. Mike, you've been in this space, Simplisafe, Ring. Yeah. Are you tempted? You just kind of went all Simplisafe, right?
I did. I went all Simplisafe. I got the doorbell and everything like that, and it's been good 98% of the time. I will say, so I was actually away on vacation this past weekend. Not vacation. I was out of town. I was at my sister's graduation, and I woke up one morning to 5 missed calls from Simplisafe, and I checked my thing, and my alarm. I had armed the system when we left town, and my alarm got off at 2:30 in the morning. And naturally, your mind goes to, that's a prime time for a break-in. And we had left PD home, though. So we have a doggy door, and PD doesn't overeat, so we can leave him for an entire weekend, and he loves it. He gets the whole house to himself. He just enjoys it. So I'm like, I was actually really worried about PD. I'm like, if someone did break in, who cares about the stuff? We're not home. We're safe. But what about PD? So I go to check, and no one had broken in. The cops had come because I went and checked my security system. The sheriff had showed up, and I think Simplisafe knows, obviously they do, the difference between an away alarm and a home alarm. And since I was in away mode, they know that I'm not home. So they're not going to bust down the door and check. He came up, he rang the doorbell, he shined his light in the windows, didn't see anything, and he left. But I went back and watched the footage from inside, and what set it off was the motion sensor. And this has happened twice now. This is the second time this has happened. For some reason, it's meant to disregard pets. Obviously, everyone has pets, so the motion sensors inside are not supposed to sense pets. But if Petey gets up on the top of our couch, sometimes if he hears a noise, he gets up on top, and almost like a cat, like on the very top part, and he stands up there, and that has set it off twice now. And so I watched the camera. He gets up there. Sure enough, the motion alarm goes off, and I feel bad for him because the system is loud, and it goes off for 10 minutes. And Petey hates loud noises, so I'm sure he was in our room. I don't have a camera in there, but I'm sure he was in there hiding away. So besides those two incidents of him getting up there and tripping the motion alarm, everything else has been fantastic with Simplisafe. Very high wife acceptance factor. I actually haven't had a problem getting my family to use it. Hannah loves it with the phone app. She can, if she forgets, she always logs into a phone and arms it. It's been really good. You can adjust the sounds. So yeah, we've been loving Simplisafe, and obviously their response is really good. That was a test. The first time he triggered the motion alarm was actually when I was at work. So it was in the middle of the work day. Obviously, I was in away mode again. They called me, and what they do is they have a visual verification. So since I have a Simplisafe camera inside, I say, hey, can you guys check and see if you see anyone in the house? They checked. They said, no, we don't see anyone, because you can see my front door. I said, is my front door intact? Because really, that's the only place, and you can see everything. And I said, nope. And I said, okay, then you can ignore the alarm. Don't send anyone. So, but this time, it was actually a pretty quick response time. I was surprised. It was 8 minutes from the time my alarm went off to the time the sheriff was at my house. So not bad. Obviously, it tells me, though, that if I do have a home intruder, I'm taking care of that myself, personally, which I'm okay with. But yeah, 8 minutes from the time that the alarm went off to the time when a sheriff was at my house looking in the window. So not terrible. I live in West Omaha, which everyone has known is a very, it's not as monitored as other areas of the city. Cops are usually not as close, not as responsive. They don't have as many units in the area. So I was decently happy with 8-minute response time, especially on an away call.
Brian says in the chat room, Snickers, must be his dog, sets off ours when he jumps up on the kitchen table. Yeah, that would sound a lot like,
again, something elevated. Maybe that's why.
Maybe it's where the sensors are set. Maybe they're kind of like, okay, they're not monitoring down low, which makes me think if you're an intruder, just walk like a dog.
I was gonna say, just stay really low. Is that the thing? I don't know.
It's like the Mission Impossible sensors, going across. These guys are crawling in the house,
right?
Tony says wife opened the garage entrance door and then left the other day. During the grace period, the alarm went off. Wife opened garage entrance door and then left the other day during the grace period.
So when you hit away, you have you can set to a different, you have 30 seconds or 60 seconds before it actually arms. So it gives you time to get out of the house, close the doors, whatever.
Gotcha. Oh, that's what the grace period is. Is that?
Yeah, that's that grace period. So it shouldn't have gone off during the grace period, but looks like it did. And mine, I've noticed mine resets the grace period if you open the door during that time. So I will hit away, close the garage door, and I'm in my garage, and then I'll forget something. I'll go inside, and it'll reset it back to a minute, because I have my grace period set to 60 seconds, because we are always forgetting something with the kids. So, it shouldn't have set it off. But yeah, Brian, my dog is about probably the same size as yours. My dog's only 30 pounds, really small dog. And same thing. Apparently, it's when they get up high that it triggers it, which is super strange.
Tony said that Simplisafe called him too.
Yep, so they call you. It works pretty well. They call you, say, hey, do you want me to send the cops? And you can allow them or not to do the visual verification. You don't have to give them access to your cameras. You have to opt into that, and I do. So I opt in.
So thanks for John, thanks for sending that email. I appreciate that. I think we're maybe as a community, we're probably between Simplisafe and Ring. Those are probably the two. Yeah, or you're doing a completely DIY of your own. But I think that's kind of, at least from what I'm hearing in the community, that seems to be where it's at. Last week, Mike, I mentioned we talked a little bit about coffee, and Neil sent me a note. He said, regarding Keurig, I like a simple but tasty regular cup of coffee. You and I were kind of talking about this in the pre-show, I think, about scooters. And he says, no frappy latte, blah, blah, blah. That's just me. Obviously, you have other tastes, but both my grandfather smoked cigars, but they are not for me. I really like the Keurig K155. It has a very short, simple brew path relative to the other models, easier to clean, less likely to accumulate oils. You can choose the beans I like, grind them in my choice of coarseness, put them into my hacked reusable filter, and filter the exact amount of coffee I wish. I am laughing all the way to the bank. It's a little bit cheaper to do it that way than to buy the
It is,
Keurig
yeah.
cups that way. Some of the Keurigs come with or support a reusable filter, but not this model. So he's kind of hacked that in. Good job, Neil.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My grinding wheel did the trick though. I just shortened some reusable filters that I got on Amazon. A toast to everyone getting their beverage of choice. Keep them coming, Neil from near Cincinnati. So Neil, thanks for that note as well. There is a whole underworld of people who hack these Keurig filters to make them, because that's the thing, right? And shoot, if you're hacking Keurig filters to save money, you are definitely not an espresso customer because it's twice as expensive for the cups for those Nespressos. Mike, it's interesting. Every time I talk about coffee, I kind of get this feedback. There's some folks like, oh, I just like a dark cup of, chewy cup of coffee. The latte thing's a little too much for most people, and that's okay. Again, Neil says both his grandfathers smoke cigars. It's not for him. It's okay. Like, you can do whatever you want. So Neil, thanks for that feedback as well. Mike, what's your go-to for coffee? What do you do?
So to be honest, usually I drink the coffee at work. We have amazing coffee at work. Our CEO is like a coffee. He gets really good coffee. It's actually called the Collison blend. A place in Omaha makes a blend of beans, and we get the whole beans, and we grind each one up for an individual pot. So really good coffee work. But for at home, we have a Keurig, and I'm not sure the model number, but we have the one that has the option for the Keurig carafe. So you can do a whole carafe of coffee if you want from that Keurig. And we do have the option. I think ours does give you, because I do have the filter if I want to grind my own beans. We're lazy. We go to Costco, though. We get the cheapest, just K-cups. I think it's actually really pretty affordable for
35, 40 cents maybe is probably what you're,
probably.
Like
but, for us, Hannah's at work, too. It's only on the weekends. Mm-hmm. So that big box from Costco lasts us a while. Yeah. And because we're both drinking kind of work coffee.
I drink the work coffee too. It's not very good at Gallup. We could do better. But I do have an espresso at work too, and I bought coffee pods for it. So I'm making a really dark, thick.
That's what I love too.
And I add honey. So I get
nice.
I get what's what the weekend? What do we call those things when you have the farmers market? There we go. We get the local. I
never would have got there from what you were giving me.
It's okay. I was having trouble getting there too. Okay. I like to get the farmers market honey, and then I just take a spoonful of honey right into the coffee. They call that a coffee olé. For me, very, very tasty. The right amount of sweet. It's not sugary sweet. It's natural kind of sweet, and so that's the opposite of what I do. Normally when I do a latte, I'm cutting that coffee with foam.
Yeah.
And milk and foam. And this is straight black with honey. Just as good for me. So that's one of those things I like. Tony Rayner says 2 Splendas, 2 half and half. So everybody's got their own coffee mix. Some folks love McDonald's. Dunkin' makes some great coffee. Waffle House makes some great coffee.
Dunkin' makes great coffee. Yeah. I love the Dunkin' if I'm going to go somewhere. And if I'm going to get like a specialty drink, it's an Americano for me. So that's usually my that's my specialty go-to.
Justin says he goes iced, Turkish, or espresso, no sugar. Yeah, I had to put hair on your chest. For sure. Iced has milk. Yeah, lots of great coffee drinks. One of the gals at work had gone to Starbucks and had gotten this cold brew nitro.
Oh, interesting.
Seriously, they're adding nitro? Yeah. Nitro.
Really?
Well, you know what nitro does to a beer. Imagine what it do to coffee. The foam, the head, the crema would be ultra creamy without adding any kind of milk product.
Right.
So interesting. I'm gonna have to give it a try. It is a $5 drink at Starbucks. That's the thing.
The crazy part.
Like for a tall.
Because we have we can order and they'll deliver around Starbucks 3 days of the week. And I've thought about it. I'm like, man, it's just so expensive when you do it.
I know.
It's because I love they have a cold brew, salted foam cold brew, something like that at Starbucks, and it's amazing. That's salted caramel. I love it. But again, a $5 drink, and it's mainly black coffee. Yeah. And when you get those sugar drinks, there's not even that much coffee in it. It's like a shot or two of espresso, and the rest is just all sugar.
Yeah. So right on. No. Tony says Dunkin' for Rich Hay. I'm a big Dunkin' fan. We have a Dunkin' coming in. They're building it right now, just down the street. So that's going to play in a little bit to what we're going to talk at the end of the show. So hang tight. Tim Horton, double, says Ron out there. Other Jim says, I watched too much TV as a kid, so he drinks pop. Okay, fair enough. Ryan says, we have Nitro Joe's here in Wichita, a local brew.
And you also have a Hertz Donuts down there in Wichita, Ryan.
Hertz in Lincoln.
They have Hertz in Lincoln too?
They have a Hertz in Lincoln.
Oh, man, that stuff.
It's good. Some pretty great stuff. So, Ryan, thanks for that note. Well, no, not thanks for the note. I'm going to read Ryan's. He says this. Speaking of that, Ryan's in the chat room. He says, I just want to say congratulations for hitting episode 400, starting somewhere around episode 230. I came across Home Gadget Geeks by the way of Home Service Show. That goes way back, which I had just found as well. Many products have come and gone in my playlist, but Home Gadget Geeks is one of those that stood the test of time. And I thank you for the entertainment. Hopefully it's more entertainment than anything and information you provide on a weekly basis. I'm not going to get all sappy, but I just wanted to let you know that us listeners appreciate the work and dedication you give to the show. Many boring daily commutes, lawns mowed, and flights have been made much more enjoyable thanks to you guys and all your guests. Here's to another 400 if you're up for it, Ryan. So Ryan, thanks. And thanks, Ryan, for coming out on the live show. Ryan's always faithful. I always appreciate the live, Tony and Brian and Ron and Justin and the folks. Emily used to come out for a while. We kind of have to ping her and say something must have come up on Thursday nights, but we appreciate you guys as well. It was fun to get to 400. All right, last email. This comes from Jeff. He says, I emailed you a while ago regarding a mailbox sensor. Remember when we talked about that,
yeah,
Mike? Yeah. He says, you had suggested a product from Stitch on Monoprice. I enclosed a picture. I'll put the picture in the show notes over at theaverageguy.tv. I enclosed a picture and wanted you to know that it works very well. Thank you very much for your help. By the way, when is the show on live? I sent him a note. Is it on Saturdays? No. Saturdays is Ask the Podcast Coach. If you're not doing anything on Saturday mornings and you want this kind of banter, except around podcastings, Dave Jackson and I get on here Saturday mornings, 9 Eastern, 9:30 Eastern, 10:30 Central. And we do Ask the Podcast Coach. Thursday nights are, well, you're here live if you're listening to it. If you're not in the recorded, we'd love to have you come out and join us live. Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern, theaverageguy.tv/live. Love to have you out there. He says, and one more thing, any new smart home devices that are new to you and that you recommend. Mike, have you done anything in the last, let's just say, month? Any new smart home stuff in the last month?
No, not with smart home. I've been looking at running, there are some applications you could run on a Docker on Unraid to get everything to go into HomeKit. And I've been thinking about that, as I've been having my phone around sometimes when I haven't been near an A-Lady device. And it's been nice to have everything plugged into HomeKit, but nothing new.
Yeah, nothing new here too. I got the, I got that device, the Habitat. I haven't installed it yet.
You haven't installed it?
No, I need to sit down and just get it installed. I just haven't.
I've been waiting to get your review of it.
I know. No, it just hasn't been. I haven't had time. It's got a stack of papers on top of it right now. Yeah. And we've just haven't got it done. I'd love to say, I listen to podcasters all the time. They're like, I'm so busy. No. Listen, you choose what to do. Like nobody is that busy. You choose to be that busy. And so I'm not going to make excuses for it. I just haven't done it. So
we'll have to the next round, because I think I've got a lot of the items that I've wanted that have made things easy for me. With the exception of, I still do need a garage door opener, closer of some sort, right? That's on the list. But as far as security cameras, security system, lights, I'm trying to think, music around the house, automated TV, everything like that. Everything just works well right now. I don't have any pain points, and it's usually a pain point that'll get me to do something. And I'm sure there is something that I don't even realize there's an option for. But no, we haven't hit any pain points lately. Everything is working really, really well.
Yeah, I'm getting that itch for that robot lawnmower again. I'd kind of gotten it out of my system because I didn't want to start building that thing in the midst of a move. I got a lot of things to repair. And as I was mowing my lawn on Wednesday and the mosquitoes were just flying up in the air, I'm like, damn it, I could have a robot lawnmower doing this thing.
We would have. So I did notice one guy up the street does have one, And you do need to make sure you pay really good attention when you're putting in the wires and actually spend a lot of time on the boundary wires, because he's got all these weird boundary, like he's literally got a square on his yard of grass that's longer than everything else because he didn't put it in quite to the edge. And so the lawnmower gets to it and it leaves almost like a border. It looks like a frame to his yard
That's
of grass
funny.
that doesn't get cut. And I think that would be a total waste of it.
Yeah.
So I did see his. I'm like, okay, that teaches you really spend some time on the wire install when you do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's got me thinking. I almost started looking because I'm really to the point where I need to figure out how I'm going to, the locomotion of it. How am I going to move it? What am I going to use? What kind of device will get it going? So, and every time I think about that, I'm thinking that's like, I know I'm going to spend like $1,000 to get that thing rolling,
Well, yeah, but but you're going to pay more than that for like a riding lawnmower or anything like that.
Oh,
right? Like,
no, for sure.
I've been thinking, okay, I've been loving my riding lawnmower. I'm like, I could sell this thing and get the automatic
Wait a minute.
lawnmower.
I told you to do that in the first
You did. I still love it. I still enjoy it. But then I get past winter time where I haven't had to mow at all. And I'm like, well, it's really nice. Now I have to worry about every single weekend finding time to go out and mow the lawn.
If you do that, you're so fast to do that. You buy it, you use it.
I probably would, yeah. And then
God, I thought McCabe was bad. You are so bad at that.
I am bad.
Well, it's
Very
good
bad
though. You are really good at selling things, and then you make that money up. You get a good price for it. What I really need to do is I need to get the bottom of a electric wheelchair. That's the way those things are kind of designed that way. And then pull it off the wheelchair and retrofit it to the deck. I need to get the little swivel wheels out front. The back wheels will be the ones that do the turning.
Yeah.
Based on that. And I think if I could do that, I'd have two batteries. One to spin the blade, and then one to run. It'd be heavy as crap. Like
it would be.
Oh my God, that thing would be super heavy.
And the only thing I worry about as your attorney is your liability for this thing. Like if the safety features aren't there, I see a lot of liability on you.
Safety features?
I know. Yeah, see, right?
I'm not an engineer.
I know, that's what I'm worried about. That's exactly why I mentioned it.
I know. No, you're right, dude. You are so right. I'm going to run over the neighbor's dog
and you wouldn't even know it.
No. Well, the original thought was I would RC control it. So I'd buy an RC controller. And at first I would run it off an RC controller. So it'd be manual. And I'd kind of learn would this thing work and how it turns and some of those kinds of things.
Pretty soon you'd have an FPV camera on the front. You'd be sitting in the house with the DJI goggles. You'd just be sitting on the sofa,
hands up like this. Just doing this kind of stuff, mowing the lawn. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see how that goes. I don't know. I need to come across the hard part is finding those wheelchair parts at a reasonable price. Like that's just not an item that's out there for everybody. And those wheelchairs are pretty expensive. So I don't know if you're out there, maybe you've got some thoughts for me around this. Maybe you work in that industry. Maybe you know some things. I don't know. Let me know. Jim@theaverageguy.tv. Who knows? Maybe the robot lawnmower is not quite dead just yet. Mike, I've been when I turned 50 last year, I got really I got motivated to get fit. So I lost a little weight. I ran a half marathon. I biked 50 miles. It was over 2 days, but I biked 50 miles.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. Almost because I almost killed myself doing the first because I didn't take any fluid or fuel or anything like that. And did 500 push-ups. And then I have pretty much said, screw it since that day, like May 26th, which is my birthday. It's coming up here in about 10 days. I kind of just said, I'm going to enjoy my life. You know what? I'm 50. I'm in, and I have literally just done whatever I wanted, like eat whatever I want.
And you've enjoyed it, right?
Oh man, it's so great. Except I probably gained 50 pounds. I'm not going to lie. Like I carry it well, but man, the other day I was I was looking at myself and I'm like, and I've been avoiding looking at myself because I'm having such a good time. Like I'm having a good time,
Yeah.
and
Like that kind of good time.
but yeah, it's time. Like, okay, so I'm coming up on 51 and I'm like, okay, it's time to travel. It's time to get back to where I was before, healthy and active. And we talked in the pre-show a little bit that kind of realized I'm not sleeping enough. Like you guys have heard me talk about this on the show that I'm having trouble sleeping and just not doing a lot of things to help myself sleep. So I'm going to do some things like just going to bed. Like it's 10 o'clock, go to bed. Like there's nothing that important that I need to be staying up for.
Right.
Get up at 6, right? It's those kinds of things. I've actually done that now 4 days in a row where I've gotten 8 hours of sleep each night. Dude, it's like a different world. Like I actually like myself. I'm like,
The world's in
wow.
color. It's weird.
I'm like, holy crap, this is pretty great. Well, the B cycles, which you guys have heard me talk about before, every year the B cycle company here in Omaha makes upgrades. And I've kind of given up on running. It's not a really great way to get in shape when you're my age anyways. And biking is super great, a lot easier on for you. So I am back in the B-Cycle world and coming back to them this year. It's still $10 a month. If you go to heartland.bcycle.com, is their site. They now have electric assist bikes, which are awesome. Like I now want to buy these. This is one of those where it senses like, so you start pedaling and if you're going up a hill, it'll kick in and then it just kind of assists you up the hill. And we have some pretty good hills here in Omaha. It's not Denver. Okay, Denver. Sorry, it's not Denver, right? Everybody's, not Denver. No, we're not Denver, but it is pretty. We still have some pretty good hills downtown, and I took the electric bikes out for the last 2 days, and it has really brought some magic back to some motivation behind me biking to the point now where, okay, I'm getting electric assist, but I'm going a lot faster, which is a lot more fun. And I'm not going to do it all the time because I need the workouts that the really crappy bikes, the big, heavy, they're Trek bikes, right? These are the heaviest bicycles in the world. They only have 3 speeds. They're intentionally slow. Like they don't want you to go fast. They don't want you to get hurt on these things. But wow, the other thing they changed on their app here in town, which is cool, is you can see not only how many bikes, but what kind. Are they electric or are they just the manual kind, which is super cool. And then the new feature they added this time, and this changes everything for me because I was carrying my ID and my credit card so I could check the bikes out. And yesterday I lost my driver's license as I was biking. No. Which really sucks. I'm hoping somebody will mail it in. I'm hoping some nice person will mail it and I don't have to go get a new one. Getting a new one's losing a credit card, honestly, is worse because you have to shut off the credit card and then all those things that go along with canceling a credit card. That really sucks. Driver's license, just go down to DMV, pay them $25 and they give you a new one. It's not that big of a deal. But it has been having that. So now on the app, you say where you're at and you put the number of the stall and the bike just pops out for you. Super great.
Just charges your card to the app. Yeah. That's what it
should
be.
No, and I have a $10. So I have the $10 plan. Here in Omaha, it gets me an hour on the bike for free. And then it's $4 an hour after that. But if I check the bike in and check it back out, timer resets. A super great way, men and ladies, a super great way to get some fitness. I don't own a bike. I don't have to own a bike. We have, I don't know, hundreds, maybe thousands of bikes in the Omaha area. I can just drive to one, jump on it, and get a bike for exercise. It's a super great way of getting out, getting some sun, getting around Omaha, and getting some exercise. Mike, I'm kind of back. I've done it twice now, yesterday and today, and I'm like, God, I missed this during the winter. So super great to be back on the bike. Have you looked at any kind of the bike system? And now we're going to talk about in a second. They have those scooters. Have you ever looked at using any of those?
Yeah, well, we loved the scooters. We went to Nashville, Tennessee, and we used the scooters to get around locally when we were down there for family vacation, and we loved them. So I'm super excited to actually use those in downtown. But from where I'm at, Jim, there's really no easy place to access those bikes. I don't work downtown or anything like that. So we actually, Hannah and I have our own bikes, and we use them every once in a while. We now have the Burley that attaches to the back for the boys, which, makes us use them a little bit more. But no, I haven't used the ones we check out very often. When those are nice, though, is when I'm with a group, like our family, and we were down in Exarban Village, and we were watching a movie at the movie theater, and then decided to take a little bike ride, and we were all able to check out the bikes and go from there, which makes it super easy. I think that was the draw for us for the scooters too in Nashville, which was we don't pile in the car and go anywhere anymore. We just find 5 scooters, each get out our phone and check them out on the app, and it works really well. Have you tried the scooters yet here in Omaha?
No, I haven't. Not the ones that are here. Have
Oh,
you?
they're great.
Yeah.
Not the ones that are here, but I think it's
Okay.
Lime that's here. So Lime is the company we used down in Nashville as well.
So the Omaha World Herald wrote a note. It said electric scooters showed up in clusters in downtown, which this is what they do, right? They put the scooters every day. Somebody comes around and collects all the scooters and charges them, and then in the morning they redeposit them around town. And
yeah, you get paid for that. I've thought about becoming a juicer here.
Yeah.
Because you can get paid for it. You take them home, you put them in your car, you take them home, and then they tell you need to have them back out by a certain point, though. That's the hard part.
Drop them back out.
Yeah, but if you're a Creighton student, get on this. Easiest way to make some money.
Well, they've put Midtown, downtown, Midtown, Exarban, Blackstone, and Benson. Those are all super hip areas of Omaha right now. They've all gone through revitalizations in the last 10 or 15 years. And so you can ride them around. I'm seeing them all over the place. Tuesday, Omaha Mayor Gene Stoddard signed a resolution allowing the scooters to be in the city, part of a 6-month trial. But some doctors have some concerns. There's some safety concerns, right? Wearing helmets. A lot of people aren't wearing helmets, and you probably should with these. Nobody carries around a helmet except me, because I always have a helmet in my car just in case a bike ride breaks out. You never know when a bike ride's going to break out.
It's part of my EDC, right? Your everyday carries a helmet.
It's a helmet in my bag.
Yeah.
Scooters are beefier than one might expect. They're also much easier to use than one might fear, right? And that's what you're saying.
Yeah, my mother-in-law, she was kind of afraid at first, and then she jumped on, and it took her, a minute or two, and she figured it out. Super easy and fully electric. You don't push these at all. They are fully electric scooters.
Yeah.
So
no workout. Somebody asked me that, the trainer actually at Gallup, I was telling her about the bikes and the new electric bikes, and she goes, "Have you tried the new scooters?" And I'm like, "Well, Sam, they're not really a workout.
No,
you just get on them." So, but it would be a fun thing to do with a family, like you're saying, right? Get a family on them and zip around
100%.
town.
Yeah.
So
and really affordable.
What? How much? And so when you were in Nashville, how much were they?
It was $1 to unlock. And then I want to say, 5 cents a minute or something like that, or 10 cents a minute, if that sounds right.
Okay.
I think we would do 30-minute rides, and it'd be like $5 or something like that, $6, maybe.
And that's about what it costs to rent these bikes for an hour.
Yeah.
So I think they're $6 an hour if you rent the bikes here in town. So downtown, the Lime, I pay the monthly subscription. It's $10, and I get unlimited 1 hour usage as long as I'm checking it back in. It says download the Lime app, register your account, then use the app in your eyeballs to find a scooter. They're all over downtown. It's crazy where they're at. I've even thought about parking someplace and then taking a scooter to Gallup just to,
Oh, you should do it one day just to try it out, because they're super fun.
And I can just leave it out front, right?
You just leave it out front. Yep.
Yeah. So let's see.
You leave it anywhere. That's the best part. You just park it. There are certain no park zones, at least in Nashville. So in Nashville, along their main strip of Nashville, you were not allowed to park it. You had to get 1 block outside and leave the scooter there. But yeah, you just scan it with your phone, starts charging it, and then park it and go.
Other Jim says good way to break an angle. Absolutely. You got to be careful with these. He also says he thinks Bird scooters will give you a helmet. We have Bird and Lime here.
Yeah, Bird weren't bad either, but the Lime ones seem to be better quality, because Nashville had Bird and Lime, so we downloaded both apps to see, and Lime seemed to be a little bit better quality for the ones we rode. We rode them a ton. I mean, that was the one way we got around for an entire week.
Joe says once you have kids, you'll never wear a public helmet. Yeah, that's true. It says then use your phone, scan a barcode on the scooter, punch a button or two, and you're off and ready to go. Helmets are recommended but not provided, so bring one or know that you're at risk of falling off. The app shows the green area of operation that encompasses much of Omaha, with borders set approximately Interstate 680 on the west, Interstate 80 on the south. I mean, you couldn't go all the way down to the zoo. So you couldn't ride these to the zoo. That's a bummer because the zoo's on the south side of I-80.
Yeah, right. You couldn't.
That'd be good. They need to have bikes down at the zoo too. I don't know why they don't. Sorensen Parkway to the north, which is pretty far north in Iowa and the Iowa-Nebraska border on the east. That's a pretty big area when you think about size. That's a lot. Several areas where scooters are not allowed are marked in red, such as the construction areas at the Gene Leahy Mall. The scooters are driven to be meant on the to be driven on the street, just like a bicycle. And for the most part, during our 11-minute ride, we were treated like bicyclists by other drivers in Omaha, which isn't a particularly bike-friendly city. That is a gross understatement. Like, it's horrible here for biking.
Right.
It's awful. It's a good thing and a bad thing. During our little putt around downtown, we topped out at about 16 miles an hour, which is pretty fast on a scooter, and successfully dodged each pothole that came our way. We have a lot this year. The scooters were surprisingly well balanced, and we gained confidence as we were rolling along. I am noticing just in my time out on the bike, I'm seeing a lot of these. A lot of the schools out, so I'm seeing a lot of students kind of cruising around the downtown area. Our downtown area does have some really good spots and some trails you can take them on. Our 11-minute ride, which is about 0.7 miles, costed $4.19, including the $1 it cost upfront to activate the scooter. So it won't save you much money over an Uber, but it is much more enjoyable as a ride, and we don't have to talk to strangers.
And Jim, I just opened up the app. This is a very large area you can have these. This goes, so I'm going to show it to you, and you'll know Omaha. If you see that area there, I mean, that goes all the way out to 680.
Yeah.
I mean, so you can grab these anywhere. And there are a ton. I was kind of zooming in and out of where they're available. I mean,
you could take that out to Westroads.
There's ones in North O. They dropped a bunch in. That's Benson, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is the Benson.
Yeah, all
Benson,
over.
Exarban. Those are just two hot spots. Do you know what time they pick them up? At night? Is there a certain time when they
I think they constantly have people going around and picking them up based on the charge level. Okay. So I think you can go and pick them up at any time if they're low on juice. But usually, I think you had to have them back on the streets by 5:30 in the morning or 6 or something like that.
What happens if you go out of bounds?
You get charged a bunch. You have to keep them parked, and you also get fined for like the no park zones. You'll get fined for parking them in those as well.
Yeah. Justin says just start writing them out from the center of the limits. Yep. And so there's none left in the center. I've actually yesterday when I went out to ride the bikes, there were no electric bikes downtown. So I went out to one where there was an electric bike and I picked it up and I brought it back downtown so we'd have some. And I thought, well, I'll just start ferrying electric bikes in to get them so that because those kinds of things, once they're there, they'll kind of stay around for a while. Well, this morning when I checked the map, there were 6 downtown already. So somebody else must have had them out or whatever and returned them back down to the bridge, and I used them there. So 2 what I think really cool ways of getting transportation. One, I wish the bikes would come down to Bellevue because I definitely would ride. I'd love if I could get an electric bike and ride it from close to my house to work and check it in and then check it out and bring it back. Man, that's a 10-mile. That's not bad. Like I could do that easy.
Yeah.
But they don't go that far south. So we don't have that. I may take Sarah out and just one evening, take her out and ride these scooters around and just have some.
You should
take her to dinner.
Use the referral code. Obviously, okay. So like I'll invite you, then you invite her, and so everyone gets all the credits. It's kind of like back in the day when Uber was just starting up. Super beneficial to get people to sign up with your referral code. You get some free rides.
Yeah. We so that being said, when we think about the bikes and a little better fitness, we've been trying Stride Kick, and we found that and have been messing around with it. And I don't know if we've done enough on it yet to really kind of test it. John was kind of asking, didn't get great reviews. We haven't done that much with it to this point.
Well, we haven't done another competition since our first one.
No, I know. It just hasn't worked. It just hasn't worked. So I'm going to really work hard on kind of getting back into the app and kind of making it a weekly thing. Mike, you and I challenge each other on our Apple stuff all the time. By the way, if you have an Apple Watch and you want to join the group, send me an email and we'll get you
Did you
connected.
accept mine from today? Are we starting a new one tomorrow?
Yeah, starts
Okay,
tomorrow.
Starts tomorrow. Okay, I
Yeah.
gotta make it to the gym tomorrow then. Okay, sounds good.
Starts tomorrow. Today was a great day for me, and I wasn't even in a challenge.
Today was not going to be a good day for me. These last two being at the CLE, so I was like, okay, I'll wait and challenge them tomorrow.
Yeah. But I'd like to get a little bit as summer kind of progresses. I'd kind of like to get back on the fitness bandwagon and get working out with you, not just you, Mike, but everybody that's listening. So if you haven't joined us on Stride Kick, I just download the app and let's see, how do they connect? I think I put a link. I think you need to follow me. I had a way of doing this and I've already forgotten how to do it. In the show notes will be the link. I'll figure this out. Get connected with me. We'll get back together. See, it's been so long since I've been in the app, I've forgotten how to do it. So I want to jump back in there. Let's get things going again. Get it downloaded. Stride Kick is what it's called. Get it downloaded. Connect with me, and we'll figure out how to get you in. I'd love to get some challenges going again, and those are always super helpful for me. It's been a while since I've been challenged to go walk the Walmart aisles and get a mile in an hour. So let's get that. Let's get in there. Get that done. Attempting, maybe I'd love one of the things I'm kind of working for to get ready is there's a vertical mile challenge that takes place every winter at Trek Up the Tower. So many of you know, I've talked about this. It comes around in February. It's 40 flights upstairs. Nobody likes doing that. It's pretty hard to do. I've done it 11 years in a row now. And weight matters for Trek Up the Tower. Every pound hurts. Flights you have. They a couple years ago started this vertical mile challenge. So instead of just one time up, it's now 10 and some change. That equals climbing a mile. And I think I'm gonna go for it this coming February. Now, that being said, being as heavy as I am now will not pay off or be nice. I would rather be a whole bunch lighter going into that climb. So join me on this. Let's all get a little bit fitter and a little less fatter. And I'd love to get some great fitness and health going on around the community again. So get in there and let's get this done. Mike, we've talked a lot of fitness. Let's kind of get back last topic here of the evening. You've got some stuff about Nextcloud.
Yeah, so Nextcloud, as you guys know, I've been talking about it. I actually got a few messages on Discord. There are actually, I think, 2 people that messaged me privately on Discord asking about, what was that cloud service you were talking about that you run on your own, and tell me more about it. And so I was letting them know that with Unraid, or with any hardware that can run Docker, Nextcloud is a fantastic option for setting up your own personal cloud, and I've been loving it. And I told him that, as time has progressed, I've added, and that's where all of our contacts are stored now. That's where all of our calendars are stored now for our family. So my contacts, Hannah's contacts, all of our calendars, families, and personal are stored on there, and it's been flawless. Well, they have a feature, and Tim, I had no use for this feature. This is just one of those like, oh, they have it, and I wanted to use it and get it set up. But it's called Nextcloud Talk. So imagine if you are a small business or even a large enterprise, but especially if you're a small business and you were using Nextcloud as your file storage and your calendar and your contact, and you wanted another way to communicate, but you want it to be secure, right? You didn't want to use Slack. So think of things like Slack, Facebook Messenger, any sort of messaging service, especially one that has video and audio conferencing built in. A lot of times if you're not using a paid service, that can get a little bit pricey for, video conferencing, especially one where you can share your screen, things like that. So think of Google Hangouts. It's actually a lot like Google Hangouts, but you can use it obviously for internal communications. I was like, this is just really cool. I'm shocked this is as easy as adding an add-in to Nextcloud, a built-in one. You just go to the App Store in Nextcloud and you say, oh, add the talk, add in, and there you go. So I was like, okay, we got to try this out because it looks pretty darn cool. Well, I added it, and there are some specific modifications, though, that need to be made, or things you need to set up to get it working really well. And so Jim, you know how these projects turn into like one thing leads to another, and you learn. But I've learned a ton going throughout this process, and I'll just put a disclaimer out there now. I don't end up getting it working. So there's the spoiler. I don't end up getting this working perfectly, but it does work really well in certain circumstances. But to get Nextcloud Talk to work well, you need what's called a turn server. So a turn server in combination with a stun server, but Nextcloud offers you their stun server to use. But you also, if you're going outside the local LAN network, you'll need, or if you have firewall rules, anything like that, you'll need a turn server. So did a lot of research, ended up setting up, you can use Coturn, which is for if you have a Linux, it's in all the distros for Linux. You can easily grab it from the repository, install it and get it configured. So getting a turn server wasn't too difficult. I set one up on a Raspberry Pi. I threw Raspbian on a Raspberry Pi, threw it on my network and set up the turn server. But so Nextcloud, I got it to work great between browsers on computers. If you and I were both on, Jim, I could invite you, and you can even invite guests, which is really cool. So I could give you a link, and you and I could do this podcast via my Nextcloud talk, all from my own server, not hosted anywhere else. Works really well in a browser, and then you can invite guests or users of your Nextcloud, whatever you want to do. The issue I ran into, though, was on iOS devices. The iOS device, you cannot initiate, at least through the app, a video call. You video call them, but if you're going to answer it on an iOS device, the answering iOS device can only answer in audio mode. And then when you go to switch it to a video call, something wasn't working right. So I couldn't get it worked because I wanted Hannah and I to use this as like our personal FaceTime. Like it would be really cool to use. And like I said, between browsers on computers or between an iOS device and a computer, it actually works really well. Still working on that to get it going. So haven't been able to get it to run perfectly, but it was really cool to have something like that running totally on your own hardware. To be able to say, I'm hosting this entire, like I was doing web calls between my browser here and my iPhone. And I even called Hannah from work because I had the app installed on her phone, and it was perfect. I mean, it was just as good as a FaceTime call, and it was all being hosted here internally. So I thought that was super cool. If you're one of those guys who doesn't like, oh, I'm gonna stick it to the man, don't rely on outside people. I don't trust Google, I don't trust Apple, I don't trust anyone. I want to run it on my own. This is for you. Like this is what it's meant for. And the fact you can add guests in, you can have it be your entire family chat. You can attach files. It's a full function chat. The chat works perfectly. So I can get on my iOS and you can use the chat feature. Looks just like any other chat app. And so it's just something, like I said, Jim, nothing I even needed because I'm like, okay, Hannah's not even going to use it. She's going to text me. We're going to go back to FaceTime. But it was just one of those, once you know it's an option, okay, I got to get it working. And so getting myself into a stun and turn server, getting Coturn set up on Raspbian, it was just a fun project. It gave me another thing to get excited about for the last 2 nights, and I have a little project to do. It's still baffling me. So I'm still, tweaking and trying to get it to work perfectly. But it's been a good time.
It kind of reminds me when I set up, you can do voice calls over the Amazon Assistant app on your phone to your Echo device, your Amazon device. Oh, I said Echo again. And you're thinking, I'm on a device that makes phone calls that I could just say to Siri,
yeah, call that person, but I'm not doing that.
Instead, no, I go into the app. I got to open it up. I gotta enable the call. I got to tell it where to call and what to do. I mean, you got to kind of file that mic under solving problems that don't exist. I'm not saying you are. You said you're doing this for fun. Like it's one of these challenges. You just wanted to know you could do it. But, think about who wrote the code for this. And you're like, what problem was this person trying to solve that couldn't be done a million different ways?
Right.
But I guess they did it because you can. You never know, right? Obviously
it's perfect for small businesses. That's what it's intended for. It's intended for you're already in the Nextcloud environment. Why leave? And having that all stored locally, and especially if you need security and audit logs, and if you're really worried about privacy, it's actually really it's a good option.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Those are super fun things to do. I remember I was coming home from Lincoln. I'd been speaking there or something, and I was listening to a podcast, and somebody was talking about this new feature that had been enabled, and I'm like, really? I didn't know I could do this. So I bring up my Amazon app and find my device and call it. And Sarah's like, hello? Because it rings on the rings on the device. Hello? And I'm like, hey, can you hear me? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, I'm calling, well, it is kind of cool that you could call directly from device to device. There might be some times when that's super handy. But I
We
could
use it all
also
the
just,
time here at home.
yeah,
Because I have one right here on my
intercom.
desk.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
intercom.
Intercom is the
between
best.
place.
If our house is a little bit bigger, I think maybe I need it, but I can literally, it's just 2 stories and I can literally yell and, or say something and you can kind of hear it. So we don't use it as often as we can. No, super cool. Super cool. Well, with that, I think we'll call it 4:02. I should mention my daughter Samantha was supposed to be on the show tonight. She got a little, she didn't have the greatest day ever and just asked if she could take a rain check. So we'll have her back on, talk a little bit about college tech. She's my daughter, so she's a huge nerd and loves her tech. And so we'll have her back on the show. Mike, thanks for being willing to jump in here and keep things rolling.
We're never at a loss for words, Jim.
No, it doesn't seem to be that way. We can jump in here. Hopefully you enjoyed it as well, and appreciate your feedback. As we look out into the next 9 or 10 of these, I don't have a lot of stuff lined up. Mike and I will be bringing some stuff. If you're thinking about it, we'll get Aaron back and some other things. But if you're thinking about, got some topics, you got some guests, some of those kinds of things, now would be a good time. Going into a busy couple weeks with work. I'm not exactly sure which Thursday nights we'll be on and which ones we won't. At this point, it doesn't look like I'm going to miss any, but you never really know. Stay close. I announce it on Twitter when we're not going to make it. And so you can follow me, Jim, Jay Collison on Twitter. Mike is Wieger Tech. If you want to follow them over here, if you want to join us on Patreon, you can do that as well. Just go to theaverageguy.tv/support. That will get you there, I think, /Patreon. Get you there as well. Join the Discord group, theaverageguy.tv/Discord. You can send me an email, jim@theaverageguy.tv. Join the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/theaverageguy. Gets you that there as well. Remind you that the AverageGuy.tv platform, both web and media hosting, powered by Maple Grove Partners. Get secure, reliable, high-speed hosting from people that you know and you trust. You know that's Christian. He'd love to do it for you. Plans start at $10. Maybe you just need some web space. Christian can pretty much do anything for you. $10 a month. Super affordable, super secure. The kid does some amazing work. And if you want more information, visit maplegrovepartners.com. Don't forget about the app. Love to have you download that. Have it on the road. If you're traveling, best way to listen, homegadgetgeeks.com. Mike, it was super cool. Sarah was gone. She went down to San Diego, so it was just Sammy and I. Got a chance to cook a couple HelloFresh meals just with Sammy. In fact, we had bought the 4-person meals while Sarah was gone, so we'd have some leftovers. And one of the nights, my son and his girlfriend came over, and man, guess what? We had just the right amount of food for him. It was super cool. We had some ravioli. My daughter made it. She made the whole thing. Like, it was super good, super easy, and just a great way. In fact, tonight, I was coming home, a little miscommunication. I came in, she was making dinner. I had pizzas in my hand. She's like, oh, she's already having a bad day. She's like, oh, and I'm like, don't worry about it. We'll put the pizzas in the fridge.
Yeah.
It'll be just fine. They'll be better tomorrow. But we did a kind of a crusted chicken and then the little grape size tomatoes.
The cherry tomatoes.
Cherry tomatoes sliced in half, and she roasted both of those, and then we had pasta along with it. Oh, dude, this is my daughter making this stuff. Like, you could too, right? So if you haven't done it yet, I've got a link in the show notes that gets you $40 off or whatever. I've got some super links that get you a week for free. If you want to try HelloFresh, great way to get. This is the time of the year, by the way, Mike. The other thing we've been doing is just grilling the meat. So they send you meat. It's meant to cook in the oven or whatever. You can take that stuff out there and throw it on the grill and grill it that way. Great ways to do it. Then bring it in and do whatever you need to do with it. Great way to get it done. Tonight, I probably would have preferred, if I would have known what was going on, I probably would have grilled that chicken for her instead of baking it. And then the other night, it was great. Last week, so when Sarah was gone, we went to Fairway and got just 4 of the biggest bacon wrapped steaks we could find.
Nothing better than that.
Oh, dude. So good. So we made those, roasted the corn. If you haven't done this yet, take your corn. Don't even take it off don't peel it. And the more in the husk you can get, the better. Just throw it on the grill on a high heat. Just cook that until all the husks are burned off. Take a knife, pop those kernels off it, and so you just have the corn. It's kind of roasted and it's got this yummy flavor to it. Throw that into a cast iron skillet with a little butter and some bacon
Really?
bits. Dude, let me tell you, you can eat it plain. It can go in burritos. You can throw it into recipes. We've put it in things. But that roasted corn, oh my God, dude, it is so good. That's something I just one day I'm like, I wonder what this would taste like.
Yeah.
And turned out super good. So and a super easy thing to do if you have a cast iron skillet, really easy to do. A little bit of butter, a little bit of bacon bits, throw that in there. Something when you grill that, and I don't even put anything on the corn. I don't soak it in water. I just put it right on. I buy it at Baker's in the summer. I bring it home and put it right on the grill. Cook it till the husks are burned off. Super great. Pair it with anything. So it's coming to be that time of the year, and I'd love to hear what you're doing on your grill. You know what I'd love? I'd love some grill pictures, just to be honest. Send those in if you're how you're grilling, what you're doing. Drop it in the Discord group, drop it in the Facebook group. I'd love to see. It's coming to be that time of year in a lot of places. What are you grilling? I want to see your best or worst, doesn't matter, grill pictures. What are you doing on that? Send them to me, jim@theaverageguy.tv. Drop them in any of the groups. I'd just love to see, or maybe even your favorite recipe. Mark Robson is famous. He goes to all these cooking classes. This guy can smoke meat like there is, and grill it and barbecue it and all that other good stuff. I'd love to see what you're doing. So get those to us. Mike, when's your next? You got a grill party planned at this point?
Not a grill party. No, I've got some wings in the fridge that need to be cooked though. But no, not a big party yet. Nothing planned. Right. I think we might do some over Memorial Day though, obviously. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's coming up 2 weeks away, and maybe that's the best time to send me your pictures. We are live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern. Oh, by the way, crypto is back. Like, how am I? We're going to talk about that in the crypto post show, if I can say it. It's hard to say fast. Crypto's back, baby. Like, holy cow, it has come back with a vengeance. I mean, I'm not making this up. Like, holy smokes! And I thought it'd be a flash in the pan. Last 2 weeks, yikes, like pretty amazing. We'll talk about that in the post show, so don't go anywhere. We actually, for the first time in like 2 years, have some, well, maybe 18 months, have some really good news for you around crypto. So stay around for the post show. And with that, we'll say goodbye, everybody.